This is USVI News, your Virgin Islands connection.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining us for USVI News. I'm Emily Matson. The USVI's Department of Tourism is sharing love and appreciation to the territory's medical community for their efforts in keeping everyone safe, especially during this past year. Their appreciation event also kicks off this week's Tourism Week with several offerings for the people here in the VI.
It was our plan at the Department of Tourism to do something to recognize the frontline workers, and since they were planning an event, we decided to partner with them in this event. So we're giving out gift bags. We have 2 raffle items for Seize the Day charters and Bluebeard's Castle, and so we're very excited to just be here to thank the frontline workers for all they've done for us to keep us healthy and safe.
Yeah, they certainly have been doing a lot of work over the past year. And here's a quick look at how you can participate in Tourism Week. On Thursday, there are 2 virtual training events for those in the hospitality industry. The first one begins at 10 o'clock in the morning, the second at 1 p.m. Both are available virtually on Zoom. You can contact the Department of Tourism for more information. Now to the latest on coronavirus here in the territory and around the country. A study in Spain finds those 60 and under who had the AstraZeneca vaccine can safely be given the Pfizer vaccine for the second shot. The recommendation comes after the Spanish Health Ministry suspended the use of AstraZeneca among this age group due to associations with rare blood clots. Study participants had received their first dose of AstraZeneca between 8 and 12 weeks previously. They were divided into 2 groups. One group received the Pfizer vaccine for the second dose. The other served as a control group and was given no vaccine. According to the study, the administration of a second dose using the Pfizer vaccine is highly effective and safe. The vaccinated group saw its immune response multiply by 120 a week after the second dose. The control group's level stayed the same. When blood samples of the patients were mixed in the lab with samples of the coronavirus, the neutralizing defense response was shown to multiply by 7. So very good news that people can get the AstraZeneca first and then go ahead and get the Pfizer vaccine second. The number of new weekly cases of COVID-19 in children have dropped to the lowest level since late fall. According to the latest data from the American Academy of Pediatrics and the Children's Hospital Association, nearly 49,000 new pediatric cases were reported last week. The experts say that is the lowest number of weekly cases since last October. However, the experts also say children represented nearly a quarter, or 24%, of the new weekly cases. As of May 13th, more than 3.9 million children have tested positive since the pandemic began. CDC numbers show new COVID-19 cases across the country are down, causing cautious optimism among the U.S. health officials, the top leaders in the health world. But they say the key is to keep us going in the right direction may fall on those young Americans. Mandy Gaither has a look at where we stand in the fight against coronavirus in today's Health Minute.
In the war against COVID-19, some good news.
For the first time since the pandemic began, COVID cases are down in all 50 states.
Top U.S. health officials say vaccines have led to a dramatic decline in cases, hospitalizations, and deaths. That progress putting us on a path out of this pandemic.
We should all have cautious optimism. Cases have continued to decrease and have not been this low since spring of last year.
But the key to keep us going in the right direction may lie with young Americans.
We are winning the war on the virus, and we need you to help us finish the job. My message to young people, of course, is simple. Get vaccinated.
More than a week ago, the FDA gave emergency use authorization for the Pfizer vaccine in those as young as 12. Since then, the CDC says more than 600,000 12 to 15-year-olds have had at least 1 dose of the vaccine, but the numbers show vaccination rates in general were lower in rural areas.
This was true for counties across the country, across all age groups, and among men and women.
Officials say they're continuing to work to narrow the differences and make sure vaccine coverage is equitable regardless of where you live.
If you haven't yet been vaccinated, perhaps you will consider being our reason to celebrate one more.
For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
The CDC also says around 60% of Americans 18 and older have now received at least one COVID-19 vaccine dose. The European Union took a big step Wednesday toward relaxing travel rules for Americans and other foreign tourists. EU leaders will recommend that all 27 nations admit fully vaccinated visitors from outside the bloc. Here's the latest from London.
There's good news for Americans hoping to make it back to Europe this summer. The European Union is signaling that member states should consider relaxing restrictions for vaccinated travelers or those from epidemiologically safe countries.
The Council will now recommend that member states ease some of the current restrictions, in particular for those vaccinated with a new Alpharest vaccine.
Now, this could apply to U.S. travelers who've received both doses of the Pfizer or Moderna shot or a single shot of Johnson & Johnson.
We wanted to come when you just opened, before everybody comes.
A number of EU countries are already open to vaccinated U.S. travelers or those with a negative PCR test, including Greece and Croatia. The rest likely won't be far behind. The EU hasn't given any firm timelines, but with summer travel season heating up, countries that rely on tourism are going to be eager to get travelers on seats in hotels and at dinner tables sooner rather than later.
The president of the International Olympic Committee is trying to reassure a worried Japan that the Olympic Games will be safe. Thomas Bach said more than 80% of the athletes and residents of the Olympic Village will be vaccinated by the time the Games begin. He offered to provide additional medical teams to support Japanese medical operations and ensure COVID protocols are being followed. Bach said the IOC will fully support Japan's safety efforts. The new president of the Tokyo Games says the Games face the same challenge the world is facing and wants to send a message to the world that they can overcome it.
Together with our Japanese partners and friends, I can only re-emphasize this full commitment of the IOC to organize together safe Olympic and Paralympic Games for everybody. To accomplish this, we are now fully focused on the delivery of the Olympic Games.
All this comes as Japan fights a fourth wave of the virus and is trying to increase the pace of vaccinations. 3 months into its vaccination program, less than 40% of its medical workers have been vaccinated.